In October 1979, after more than 13 years of military rule, Nigeria was returned to democratic rule. The National Party of Nigeria emerged victorious in the presidential election, and Alhaji Shehu Aliyu Shagari was elected the first executive president. However, it was not to last. The hunger and poverty that characterized the last days of the Second Republic prompted the armed forces to take over power in December 1983. Major General Muhammadu Buhari became the new head of state. The Buhari administration identified indiscipline as the bane of the nation's ills. It launched different phases of the war against indiscipline, which became a household word in many Nigerian homes. He accused the civilian government with economic mismanagement, widespread corruption, election fraud, and a general lack of concern for the problems of Nigerians. He also pledged to restore prosperity to Nigeria and to return the government to civilian rule, but proved unable to deal with Nigeria's severe economic problems. The Buhari government was peacefully overthrown by the SMC's third-ranking member, Army Chief of Staff Major General Ibrahim Babangida, in August 1985. Babangida cited the misuse of power, violations of human rights by key officers of the SMC, and the government's failure to deal with the country's deepening economic crisis as justifications for the takeover. During his first few days in office, President Babangida moved to restore freedom of the press and to release political detainees being held without charges. As part of a 15-month economic emergency, he announced stringent pay cuts for the military, the police and civil servants, and proceeded to enact similar cuts for the private sector. Imports of rice, maize and later wheat were banned. President Babangida demonstrated his intent to encourage public participation in government. Decision-making by opening a national debate on proposed economic reform and recovery measures. The public response convinced Babangida of intense opposition to an economic recovery package dependent on an International Monetary Fund (IMF) loan. President Babangida promised to return the country to civilian rule by 1990. The state was later extended until January 1993. In early 1989, a Constituent Assembly completed work on a constitution for the Third Republic. In the spring of 1989, political activities were again permitted. In October 1989, the government established two grassroots parties, the National Republic Convention (NRC) and the Social Democratic Party (SDP). The presidential election was held on June 12, 1993, with the inauguration of the new president scheduled to take place on August 27, 1993. In the historic June 12, 1993 presidential elections, which most observers deemed to be Nigeria's fairest, early returns indicated that wealthy Yoruba businessman MKO Abiola had won a decisive victory. However, on June 23, Babangida, using several pending lawsuits as pretense, annulled the election, throwing Nigeria into turmoil. More than 100 persons were killed in riots before Babangida agreed to hand over power to an interim government on August 27, 1993. Babangida then attempted to renege on his decision. Without popular and military support, he was forced to hand over to Ernest Shoneko, a prominent non-partisan businessman. Shoneko was to rule until new elections scheduled for February 1994. Although he had led Babangida's transitional council since early 1993, Shoneko was unable to reverse Nigeria's ever-growing economic problems or to defuse lingering political tensions.